Okay, so I'm trying something new for seed starting this year. I'm sifting some compost from the finished side of my compost pile, and I'm gonna make my own seed potting mix. This is the screen that I use to get out all the solid pieces, and I'm gonna take from this side right here. This is definitely finished compost, not hot anymore. In fact, it's pretty dry. Not many worms left in it. But anyway, I'll take all this up here, put it on the screen, and sift out any woody bits. A lot of that white is perlite from potting soil that I've put in here before. There's also bits of eggshell, and the way I see it, the finer the eggshell gets chopped up, the better. So as it goes through the screen, it gets chopped up into finer and finer pieces, which will help it decompose eventually and add calcium to our soil. What we have left over here is bits of wood and eggshell seeds that are probably rotten and not viable anymore. I'm going to take this over here to the side where I have the compost still cooking, and I'm going to add all that solid carboniferous stuff and eggshell back to the side that's cooking. And eventually I want to get all of the finished compost out of here so that I can use it for this seed starting mix or just to add to the garden. But you can see this is very fine stuff. It's mostly worm castings, and this is going to be really the base. This is going to be the food for our seedlings. So after looking up a few videos for seed starting soil or seedling soil online, I've noticed that the three ingredients are pretty much equal parts compost, perlite, and peat moss, or cocoa coir if you want to use that. It's a little more environmentally responsible. And you can see that this is not going to be an exact match at all. I'm going to just add this half bag of perlite that's left. That should lighten it. I'll mix that in completely. And this is maybe a third of a bag of peat moss. It's been sitting around for a bit, so it's pretty wet and heavy. But I figure once this is combined with the dry compost and the perlite, well, it might actually be almost an equal amount as the compost, which is good. We should have a real interesting mix that should be real fertile and help our seedlings get off to a good start. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm using this mixture with ingredients that I have on hand to replace Happy Frog. Happy Frog is excellent soil, and I like to use it for my seedlings, but since it's the fall and we're putting in brassicas, one of the main active ingredients in Happy Frog is the mycorrhizae that actually attach to the roots of your seedlings and help them absorb water and break down nutrients and feed them. The only thing is, brassicas like broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and kale, all the things we're planting right now, kohlrabi, none of those actually form a symbiotic relationship with mycorrhizal fungal spores. So we're hoping that this blend that we're making actually just has tons of nutrients, because that is one thing that brassicas absolutely need. They're heavy feeders. So hopefully this excess of compost, or hopefully not excess, but just the right amount of compost, will get our seedlings off to a really good start. So it's kind of going to be a unscientific experiment to see which does better, the Happy Frog or this blend we're making. Well, there we go. That is our mix. It looks really soft and airy, fluffy. Really looks to me like we have enough perlite in there. And again, we're going to see. I think what we'll do is we'll do an experiment. We'll plant half of our seedlings for the yellow cabbage collards, which is definitely a favorite of our students at the garden. In this, we have something like 18 of those. So we'll do 9 of those in this homemade potting mix made with our own compost from the backyard versus 9 of them in the Happy Frog. And we're going to see if the homemade mix does better. If it's at least as good, it'll definitely save us some money, because that Happy Frog is costing me $23.50 a bag, and I go through a lot of bags of it every season. So if we can switch off to using the stuff that's right in the backyard, that's been composted down for 6 months, and obviously there's a lot of it, that'll help in terms of price. Not to mention that compost was just going to be thrown into the beds anyway to top dress and amend. And I still have at least as much compost back there in the finished side of the bin, so I can still amend with it, or if it comes down to it, make a bunch more of this to pot up our seedlings before they go out into the garden. All right, well, there it is, our homemade compost potting soil mix. We'll see you next time.